Hello and welcome. In today's exciting episode, I will be beading this adorable jacket. It's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Perfect jacket. So here is the plain jacket. I haven't put the lining in yet, but because I'm going to do some of the heavy beading first. And here are the beads that I've pulled out of my bead collection. Yeah, I don't buy any new beads. I'm just using up the ones I've collected over the past, well, more than a decade. So as you can see, there's quite a lot to choose from. So there's sort of peachy and apricot ones. And this is a jacket I made a couple of months ago now. And it's all over beading in red and purple, red and pink. And yeah, I just love the way I left sort of patches and you can still see the tweed underneath. So I thought with this one, I'll leave even more room in between the beading so that you can really see how beautiful the and complex the colors of the tweed are. So from far away, it just looks like one solid color. But up close, yeah, it's really beautiful. So first of all, I started with just some see-through, transparent, sort of honey-colored amber beads. And then I did some blue ones using blue thread. And yeah, at this point, it was sort of just experimenting. And later on, I will end up going back and pulling some of these off. But yeah, it was good to just sort of lay down some foundation work and then sort of go from there. So then on the right side, I did some blue as well, more of the heavy pearls at the bottom. And then, higher up, I used the expensive ones really, because you want to use the most expensive beads around the sort of upper chest area and just below the chin, because that's where you can see them the most. And this is the view of the back. I was starting to get my rhythm here, and yeah, the groupings are much neater, which I actually prefer. And yeah, I have some, I think these ones are vintage, and they're sort of, some of them are a little bit green. They're a bit, yeah, they look like they're oxidized or something. And yeah, I also love the amber pebbles. And then these are sort of, they're a heavy glass with a marbled look. Then I decided it was time to work on the sleeves. I love this cuff. It's got the heavy blue pearls on one part, and then if you turn it, sort of the other half has got these honeycomb transparent plastic beads. And yeah, they just look so good when this particular pastel tweed is behind them. The light play is beautiful. And then I used the heavy marble look ones on the other cuff. And yeah, I think obviously they're very different, but I think the contrast, just they complement each other beautifully. I'm using some really heavy beads on this one. So yeah, I was sort of checking that the weight is matching on both sides and the front and the back as I was going as well. Then I used some of these large blue plastic beads on their shoulder, and they've got an AB finish, which is kind of like an oil slick finish, and I love it, but I do think it would photograph better if I'd used a matte finish bead. So if I ever use up my beaded stash and start buying new beads, I'll remember that for next time. And then, as you can see, I've added more dark blue pearls. I sort of unpicked some of the stuff that wasn't working, and yeah, just put in more of the blue pearls. And yeah, so then I sort of stepped back and had a look, and I've put when I bought all these flowers from Joann's, there was this massive sale a few months ago back in Easter. I bought this mix bunch, and it had random one, and it had 4 Himalayan, so the blue poppies. And yeah, I have nothing else to use them on, so I thought I might use them here. So I've just sort of balanced them on the shoulder for now, just so you can see you know, why I've left this massive gaping area. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do with that. So I think before I get to that point though, I will just do some more of the heavy beading down the bottom. So the next round of beading, I started by adding more blue pearls, and yeah, so it's just got this beautiful amount of weight on the hip now, and it just makes the jacket sit really, really well. And it also looks beautiful. So I was going to sort of go round to the right side next and sort of bring the line of the pearls all the way up to sort of almost under the arm. But they're really heavy, and I thought before I do all that heavy stuff, I'll add some of the sequins, because yeah, it's easier to do that when there's a little bit of weight but not a massive amount of weight. So I added these blue AB large plastic beads just to give it a bit of weight at the cuff, and then in between that I did these sequin flowers, and as you can see there's some apricot ones up near the shoulder and then again over on the chest. But yeah, I love these blue ones. They remind me of forget-me-nots. And yeah, I did so many of them. I thought after a few dozen or so, I would inevitably get bored with it all. But yeah, I absolutely love them. I think they look so adorable. I'm not thrilled with the seed beads and their glass beads as the stems. In another patch, later patch, I use bugle beads and they look much better. But I really do like the way the apricot ones turned out. And from far away, this one looks gorgeous. And I will fix it a little bit more later. So yeah. Yeah, I love the apricot ones. I could, if I had enough, I would happily wear a jacket that was just all over these apricot ones. So yeah, I did some on the back as well. And I just love how from far away you can't really even see them. But then when you get closer and closer and closer, it's just got this exquisite detail, and it's, you know, these bright little daisies. And yeah, I don't know, I just absolutely love them, can't get enough of them. So yeah, I did some more of those across the front after I'd done the sleeve. I'd sort of taken off quite a few of the other beads, but so I was tempted to take some of these crystal cut glass ones off because they're quite expensive and they weren't looking good in the section where they were. But yeah, I decided to just leave them where they were and sort of overgrow the daisies over the top of them, and I think it looks really good because you catch a glimmer every now and again of the expensive beads. And but yeah, they're mostly obscured by the flower sequins. So anyway, I thought it looked really nice. So then it was time to get back to adding more heavy beads. So here on the right, you can see that amber sort of honeycomb shaped plastic beads, and they just add weight around the waist, and it just makes the jacket sit so nicely. But then, yeah, and I sort of really got excited with these. They're sort of on the front, but I sort of wrap them around the back as well. And yeah, the weight sits beautifully. But then there was this awkward gap between the blue pearls and the amber honeycomb ones. So I used the last of the amber pebbles to fill in that gap there. And then once that was done, I decided it was time to work on the left side again. And yeah, I really wasn't happy with the love hearts, and they just didn't work for me. So I decided to sort of overgrow them with the pumpkin coloured vintage floral sequins. So I did a whole scattering of those and just sort of running down along the blue pearls. And I sort of towards the end here, I sort of fed them, sort of popped a few in between the pearls, you know, when you walk along the pavement and it's cracked and a weed or a daisy will come up in between them. That was the kind of look that I was going for. Anyway, that's what I think it reminds me of. And yeah, so this is how it's looking now. So sort of stepped back and popped it on the mannequin to see what I would do next. And at this point, I sort of started to second guess myself, because it looks like it's just a bunch of like a dozen different samples. Like each section is very self-contained, and I was a bit worried that they weren't interacting well or enough with each other, each sort of sample section. I mean, I would love to have a dozen different jackets and each of them like only pearls or only flowers or only marbled beads. But yeah, I just, at this point, I felt like it wasn't a cohesive whole. So I just sort of looked at how I could sort of lengthen certain, like this. Some of the sections I felt if I made them just a little bit bigger and bridged the divide between each of them and sort of made them cross over. So I like this bit where the pearls and the pumpkin coloured flowers sort of intermingle. And I think, I was just thinking, well, maybe if I do that on a couple of other areas, the whole jacket as a whole will look more cohesive. So I decided to add more of these pumpkin flowers to the cuff on the left side. But I decided to have a coffee first. And as I was sitting there, I was looking at my cotton prints. Those two stacks on the right, I've already done fabric hauls for, so you probably recognize quite a few of these ones, but the other two stacks, well, 2.5, I haven't done fabric hauls for yet. But yeah, this one I think would look absolutely gorgeous as a sort of short 60s dress, or that lemony peach one with the blue monster things. And yeah, there's about half a dozen or so that would look gorgeous as skirts or dresses to wear with this jacket. But yeah, until then I'll just wear jeans and a t-shirt, my usual Parisian uniform. So here's the new patch of pumpkin coloured flower sequins, and with these ones they look more like wildflowers in my opinion, because they're more sparsely embellished. There's sort of less of them. See, these ones look like a manicured garden bed because they're sort of more closely crammed together. And I also use seed beads as the stems, so they look a bit chunkier, whereas these ones on the sleeve here, they look more delicate and fine, like a natural flower, because I use the bugle bead, like a long thin bead, as the stem of them. And yeah, I think these are more of the chubby short ones. And I don't know, I do like the bugle beads better, the wildflower look, but I kind of like all of them. I like that there's a bunch of different ones. So anyway, next it was time for more of these marble beads, because I just felt like I needed to add that extra weight. So I put some of, beaded the shoulder, and just sort of evened out the back a bit. Once the shoulder and upper back were done, then I did the counterweight. So at the bottom on the opposite side, going around to the front, just if you have just a bit of beaded weight right above the hips, the jacket just sits so beautifully. So that's what I was going for. And then after that, I sort of just added a few more of the pearls and the flowers to that, the hip sort of waist area here. And yeah, just did more pumpkin beads. Pumpkin sequin flowers, obviously. And I really like the way they sort of grow in between each other. And then I was looking at this clump here of blue flowers. See, I decided to add yet more blue flowers on stems of bugle beads. So you just sort of, what you do is you thread 2 bugle beads on, then you thread the blue plastic flower thing, then you add one seed bead, then you turn your needle around and carefully pull it all the way through again, and that's how you get these long strings. And yeah, so just by adding a bit of height, it sort of I feel like it broke that up nicely. So now it was time to finally add the lining so that I could do all the top beading. So I used the orange silk for the lining, and it looks fabulous. And here it is on the mannequin so it's time to do the top beading and flowers. So I've got out the blue Himalayan poppies, and I carefully sewed them on, and then I used some of the little blue flower sequins that look a bit like forget-me-nots, and I sort of sprinkled some of those around. And yeah, I think it turned out really well. I think it's adorable. So then next it was time to do the other side, the right side. I honestly don't know my left from my right. And I used my glass bubble beads. They're so amazing. I got them years ago, and I've always been afraid to use them because, well, they seem quite fragile to me. And of course you can see the thread that you use as well, so you just have to be really, really careful to in how you use them, and yeah, physically how you attach them, and take great care. And obviously now it's a really fragile jacket, and I'll always have to sort of keep it in its own archive box, so it's a lot of hassle. But yeah, I just really love how it turned out. Obviously there's still a lot of gaps, but that's part of it because I used such a gorgeous tweed underneath, and I really wanted it to show through and really complement this is what it looks like from far away. And you can see that there's lots of different things on there, but you can also see that gorgeous tweed. So yeah, I'm really happy with the way it turned out. There are still a lot of gaps that, I mean, with the big glass bubble beads, they're only on the right side, and I don't know, I was so tempted to just keep going and put a few on the left as well. But all in all, I really like it. And yeah, my eyes keep going down to all the cotton prints that I have that would look fabulous with this. So yeah, I've got a couple of vintage style patterns, and like those light blue ones, and the lemon, and the a couple of different peaches. I think if I made skirts or vintage style dresses out of those, they would just look absolutely gorgeous with this jacket. But until then, I'll just wear it with, dark jeans and heel boots and t-shirt. Anyway, this is the finished jacket, and yeah, I just love all the different sort of samples that I did on this, and I love the way that they have mixed together and sort of all melded and work as one. And yeah, so happy with it. I've got so many beads still left over, so I think I might use them on the Mediterranean tweed that I have. But yeah, this jacket is just delightful. So thank you for watching, and have fun beading and making jackets of your own.